Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and this is going to be my spoiler-filled discussion and review of Spider-Man Far From Home. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and put out videos daily. You can also find me on our Twitter and Instagram at Movie Guy 365. Okay, so fair warning, this is going to be a spoiler-filled discussion about Spider-Man Far From Home. Going into more details and thoughts about the overall film, including end credit scenes that I didn't want to even really allude to as much in my non-spoiler review. I wanted to keep that one very vague, just give you my overall impressions, and just kind of give you my overall feeling about the movie. Alright, so this is the last warning. Spoilers. Alright, Spider-Man Far From Home. Beginning right after Avengers Endgame, I was thinking about this after I actually recorded my first review. I kind of have the same feeling I did when Infinity War ended and we went right into Ant-Man and the Wasp. But strangely enough, I still enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp to a good level, but I didn't, love the film. But it almost felt like, you're going really high with Infinity War and then you're kind of going down low a little bit. And I feel that was kind of a jarring shift. I know it's like, you want to come down gradually, kind of like a high, I guess. You want to come down gradually, and this one was kind of like a thump. But as you look back, you kind of see, hey, it actually had relevance to what happens in Endgame. So Endgame, comes and goes, and now we're in a very similar situation with Spider-Man Far From Home. So I kind of feel like there was also a downward shift. Like, you're in that roller coaster and you really plummet down in this one. It's not knocking the movie. And in fact, I did enjoy it overall. I don't think I really even changed my score on that one. I believe I gave it a 7 out of 10. But it's definitely, you're going up against something, the looming shadow of Endgame, and then you're here. But overall, I don't know, I guess my issues with Homecoming kind of are the same issues with Mysterio. The movie overall just feels small, as far as the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe goes. Now, I know, we have things, standalones all the time, and that's nothing new, but I don't know, it's just something about the way Marvel is treating Spider-Man. I don't know if they really, I'll be honest. Growing up with Tobey Maguire stuff and, to a lesser extent, Andrew Garfield, like him or not, he was more of a fully realized Spider-Man. I think I'm kind of getting over the, oh, gee, gosh, shucks, Spider-Man character. I think for Homecoming, okay, you got to do that. But this character has been through a lot since then. And while there are shades of him, growing as an individual, I still feel like they make him a little bit too, I don't know if I would say innocent, but naive. I would say naive is probably the word. This whole movie focuses solely around that premise. He's so naive about Mysterio. Now, I like how they did that, but I think it felt like there was too many wheels in motion and for everything to have to play out the way it did. It almost was like it had to happen by luck. There's only so much you can engineer in a plan. And of course, that's touching on one of the other issues I have with it. The whole Mysterio monologuing thing was very, very much like Syndrome. It was too much like Syndrome as far as that goes. I think that kind of took me personally out of the movie. Yeah, it was cool, but it was a nice little thing. Oh, look, we got this character from Iron Man 1. Oh, look, we got this character from here. Oh, we did this and did that. It felt like it was just, you were explaining it to the audience. It was too obvious. I think that's kind of where my issue came from as far as just how the plan happened. Look, Sony marketing, Marvel, they did a great job hiding the, they were trying to play up the multiverse angle. I didn't buy that angle for a second. I knew full well that's not where this was going. And I think most people, if they were comic book fans in any way, shape, or form, knew Mysterio was not a good guy. I mean, once again, I think that marketing was playing straight towards just the general audience, the people that just didn't, follow the comics, didn't know what Mysterio was. Oh, look, Jake Gyllenhaal. So I think that's where it went for. And I feel as a result, it kind of was insulting us comic book fans. You know, and I saw a lot of posts on Facebook, you know, before this movie was being released. Oh my God, it's the multiverse, and it's in even quote unquote credible news sites are like, oh, is the multiverse now a thing? Oh, is this like, haven't you people read a comic book? Do a Wikipedia search. You know, that's all you had to do. And then I started hearing theories about, oh, there's like a multiverse, you know, they're going to introduce all the Spider-Man and the you know, Into the Spider-Verse is going to cross. And then all of a sudden I was like, come on, guys. While that would have been cool, I'm not giving, you know, too much credit to the filmmakers in this one. It's a Spider-Man film. You're not going to go from Homecoming, which arguably was just kind of like, you know, Iron Man Jr. in a lot of respects, to all of a sudden now you're going to have like this grand arc of the multiverse. You're not going to go for that necessarily here. That's something that, you know, Doctor Strange, or, you know, as much as we comic book fans and as moviegoers know about these things, I think that was going to be too much of a, you know, too much to achieve or too much to wish for. So I always kept my expectations lower. I knew Mysterio was a villain. I knew he was from Earth, the Earth that they are on, and trying to, like, you know, market one way and you know, you want to shock the audience, that kind of thing. I don't honestly, was anybody shocked? Did anybody all of a sudden say, "Oh my God, he's a villain"? No, that's not how it worked. I don't know who the marketing. I think maybe they were trying to hide the movie or what. I don't know what it was. So as a result, we get this long, you know, monologue scene from Mysterio. And then everything after that, once again, Mysterio played more like a behind-the-scenes guy than actually hands-on, you know? And then that all ended, and there's even the line, he's like, "Oh, get the shit off me, it's stupid, blah." And most of the rest of the movie is him in a motion capture suit that they're showing you. And it's just like, I don't know, it didn't work for me because he wasn't really Mysterio, he was just some guy. And, you know, it would be kind of cool if, like, they had to integrate all that tech into the suit, the actual suit. You know, the fishbowl and everything like that. But it wasn't like that. And I feel it was kind of disappointing. It was kind of like trying to do a real world Mysterio. But I think the way he was in the first half should have been the way he was the whole movie. He could have done everything the same way, but kept the suit on him. He's like, "Oh, I hate the suit, but it's necessary," that kind of thing. And it just kind of worked. I mean, yes, the illusions were cool. I enjoyed that kind of stuff. I loved it. Although I felt the Iron Man zombie thing was a little too CGI, but I thought everything else was implemented brilliantly, and I liked the use of the drones. I think that was cool. But where are you going to go? I mean, I don't know if they actually confirmed Mysterio died in this. I don't think he did, or I don't know, it was maybe a passing reference I just missed. But assuming Mysterio were to come back, how would they utilize it? Obviously, he's not going to have access to that same technology. I don't know. I feel that it was kind of trying to be limited with the character to an extent, grounding him more, which I guess he kind of had to do, but I think they could have found a way to do it and maybe keep him on. Cast was fine. I enjoyed the cast. I thought everybody did a great job. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more Flash Thompson. I really, really like his character. I'm glad they changed him a bit from Homecoming to here. And he kind of felt a little sorry for him. Betty Brant had more to do. But once again, I think it was kind of like just as Ned's girlfriend. And, you know, now that they're, quote, you know, they started dating at the beginning of the movie. They broke up at the end of the movie. She never really felt like she was part of that group. It felt more like she was Ned's girlfriend coming along. Zendaya was fine. I really, really like her. She was very good as MJ this time around. And, you know, of course, Tom Holland as Peter Parker was great. I really enjoyed him. Jon Favreau, I think he had the right amount, but it was just kind of a weird thing with him and Aunt May. I don't know why they were going that direction. Maybe just to give him something else besides, you know, helping Spider-Man kind of thing. Other dislikes, just the overall movie felt small. It didn't feel like there was any huge consequences. And I touched on this in my non-spoiler review. Endgame is over. You know, the snap has been reversed, but the world had been affected in that 5 years, and you don't really see that, and that was kind of disappointing. It didn't feel like, you know, it felt like, once again, it was more limited to America or New York or something like that. Because when they showed scenes of, like, Ant-Man, you know, walking through neighborhoods and there's piles of trash everywhere and everything just looked just like a ghost town. Anywhere where Peter went in Europe didn't feel that way. It felt like it was business as usual. And I know there was a tiny, tiny time jump from, you know, when the snap got reversed to, you know, home or Far From Home, but it didn't feel like enough time to repair what had happened in the world. And I know maybe they were just doing that Europe thing to kind of get away from showing New York or something, but I don't know. I didn't really get that sense that this was even part of that world, the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe, as I was talking about before. And going to another complaint, not enough New York. There was really just a few moments at the beginning and a few moments at the end. Of course, the end credits scene, which I'm going to talk about that also. I think I'm the first person to complain that I feel like way too many movies, any movies, are set in New York. I will be the first to complain about that. I think others, you know, parts of the country do exist. But when we see, you know, a character who is just he is New York. That is Spider-Man. He is NY. And 99% of the movie is not him being in New York. And I don't know, I kind of would like to see him swinging around. I mean, we've never really seen him do that. You know, in Homecoming, he was kind of, when he would swing around, it would just be kind of like in the Bronx, that kind of thing. And, you know, or, you know, Queens or whatever, wherever he was. But it's just, it didn't feel like what we saw in, you know, the Maguire films or even Garfield stuff. It just felt like he was never in main New York, swinging around skyscrapers. You get a little bit of that at the end, just a tiny, tiny bit. And I would have liked to have seen more of that. Peter as a character, I feel, and I touched on this in the other review, he's too inept. And the writers are treating him that way. He's supposed to be one of the most brilliant minds in the Marvel Universe. I don't get that at all from him. He can design a suit, so he can use Tony's technology to design a new suit, no problem. But figuring a couple things out throughout the film that should have been kind of obvious, he struggles with. All right, so let's talk about the end credit scenes. The first one, that one really should not have been an end credit scene. That should have just been the end of the movie. I don't know, that one kind of frustrated me. It really should have been, that should have been how you end it. That's called a cliffhanger. That's not an end credit scene. That should have been, you know, flying with MJ, and then everything the same, you know, do that for a moment, and then end it how it ended. What do I think they're going to do with that? I don't know. I just read something actually this morning suggesting, that they're not going to reverse that. That is going to be Spider-Man status quo. Look, I trust Kevin Feige. I do. I just think there's certain characters that you should not have to have their identity known. You know, it's not I know it's not the comics, but if you're veering way too far outside of the comics, people are going to notice, and I think it could fundamentally change a character. I'm hoping we get something out of it. You know, yes, there's definitely ways to fix that. Obviously, the movie refers to it with the Skrulls. That could easily be a fix, or they could do something, you know, but if they're not planning on doing a reversal or something, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about that. And also the reference of the Avengers. Going into the second end credit scene, we see Nick Fury and Maria Hill in the car, and they turn out to be Skrulls. It's Talos and his wife from Captain Marvel. I dug it. Unfortunately, I was made aware of the spoiler going into the movie, so I kind of was expecting it. And there's actually a couple lines I was looking for in the movie itself that gave it away, and there's at least two. But yeah, so obviously they were kind of doing the point for Nick Fury. It just felt, I don't know, like I don't know if I would have appreciated it more if I hadn't known that spoiler. Unfortunately, being in the internet day, you go into a comment section talking about the latest, you know, video game, and somebody's going to drop a random spoiler about Spider-Man or Avengers. That, believe it or not, happens. So that's kind of how it happened for me. I was in a completely unrelated topic. It wasn't even about a movie, and some guy just like, oh, this and this and this. I'm like, oh, great, thanks. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're setting up for it. I remember being in Homecoming that the end credit scene was more or less setting up a Spider-Man thing, and this one seems to be an overall Marvel Cinematic Universe thing. At least I'm hoping so. That could be interesting, you know, in and of itself, because, you know, maybe Sony's playing more nice with Marvel and vice versa. I don't know. I'm hoping we see some result of that. I guess we'll find out. So how do I feel about it? interesting. But what about the Avengers? This is, I guess, the thing that kind of bothers me about it. When we finish the Avengers, the first one, we get this whole thing about, oh, what if we need them again? You know, then they'll come back. This one kind of felt more like, oh, they're gone. Like, they're not coming back. And I'm not sure I dig this. I would have liked to have seen something, you know, because there's the line about, well, he was asking about the Avengers and what should I tell him and that kind of thing. And I don't know, it just felt like I would have liked to have seen something, you know, something saying that, you know, their world is still going to be okay as far as like superheroes go. It just, I would like a nugget or something. And I don't know, that's my own personal preference. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. My thoughts on Avengers, Spider-Man Far From Home. I ranked this in so there's 23 Marvel movies. I ranked this after much thought and thinking about it, number 17 on my list. Avengers, you know, is a big movie to kind of follow, and I think overall this kind of had, you know, right around where Captain Marvel is on my overall list. It's not one of the best Marvel movies. I really don't think it is. But it's not one of the worst. Yeah, that bottom three is not a place you want to hang out in. But yeah, so I put this number 17 on my list. I still think it's a fine movie. And I said this in my other review, I don't have any urge to go see it again. I'm probably gonna, yeah, I will absolutely get it on disc. I will be getting a 3D copy, getting a 4K copy. I will watch this again in the comfort of my own home. But when I went to see it in the theater, I had 2 times people were on cell phones. And also the screen's not a great screen. So I'll just watch it at home. But I don't have any, you know, the rush to go see it again in the theater. That's me. That's my spoiler review of Spider-Man Far From Home. Let me know in the comments below, what were some of your favorite moments? What were some of the moments you didn't like? Let me know. And in the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Otto with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.